Hi everyone, I'm Mariam Bernstein and you are here with Tuesdays with Mariam as we work towards the opening of Tuesdays with Morrie at the Winnipeg Jewish Theatre. I am here today with Diana Rasmussen, who is with the ALS Society of Manitoba. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I would love if you could just talk a little bit about what ALS is and what the function and work is that the ALS Society of Manitoba does.
Okay, so first of all, as you said, my name is Diana Rasmussen. I'm the Executive Director, Client Services Coordinator for the ALS Society of Manitoba. And ALS Society of Manitoba has been in existence now for at least 40 years in total. Not always in the same format, but different formats. So it started out because there was no support for people with ALS in Manitoba many years ago, and we needed to get a clinic going. So initially that was the thought. That's how it's all started. But just prior to that, we've been seeing a few people that came through our doors, and this was at Deer Lodge Centre where we were located at the time. And we started there. Very quickly it moved from Deer Lodge, and we moved into a little back area of Deer Lodge as, quote, the ALS Society of Manitoba. And it was a group of people that came together to help support people living with this fatal neurodegenerative disease. And textbook-wise, people only live 2 to 5 years, but we do see a lot of people who either live a shorter lifespan or they live a longer lifespan, depending on the type of ALS that it is. So we've been here a long while, but we still have a long way to go.
Mm. And in terms of the things that you help the families with, I assume it's things like practical care and functioning and how to help patients and also emotional support. Is it covering both?
We cover a lot of areas. We provide equipment to people at no charge. Equipment for people who are living with ALS and their families is incredibly expensive. And I'll give you an example. One porch lift so that people can get in and out of their homes can cost you anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 to $15,000. Well, yeah. People just don't have that kind of money, and especially if you're living with a debilitating disease, which means that you may have to do modifications with your own home. So we provide equipment like that, but we also provide things like wheelchairs, walkers, eating tools, certain types of tilt chairs. The list goes on, toilet equipment. We have a variety. We have over 4,000 pieces of equipment, and these are loaned out to people across Manitoba, and sometimes people who are on the cusp of Manitoba, because we do serve Northern Ontario and Southern Saskatchewan, because we're closer to them than they are to their own folks. So.
And how many families would you say there are who are dealing with ALS?
The number fluctuates, but we talk about ALS and motor neuron diseases because the ALS Society deals with motor neuron diseases which are not necessarily ALS. They may be ALS at a later stage, but they are not at that point because there's other forms. But in Manitoba, on our listing right now, there's close to 400 or 500 people that we deal with all over the province.
And can you just talk about some of the, when we say, motor neuron degenerative disease, can you just put that into layperson's terms about what that?
So ALS can start either in the lower motor neurons, which means the lower portion of the legs, and it can move its way up through the body. Often that's the most common form of ALS we see.
And that's in fact the one that we're dealing with in Tuesdays with Morrie.
Morrie, yes. And so the other form is bulbar ALS, which affects speech, swallowing, and breathing. And eventually a person with ALS will have all forms of ALS areas affected. So it will go from the legs to the arms to the trunk to the respiratory area to the eating, drinking, swallowing.
Right.
All of these areas are affected. So every part of your body is affected.
Where are the major areas of research happening these days?
Oh, there's been a lot of research being done, a lot in the United States, a lot in Canada. We just had from the University of Western Ontario, they've got some really interesting research going on where it looks like they have found one area that may be a highlight to leading towards a cure. And we don't want to say that it will be or that it will, because we don't want to mislead people.
An interesting, promising path to pursue.
Yeah, and they figure that it will be a 5-year mark. So
wow.
Research takes an awful long time, and so it takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so that's another aspect of the ALS Society. We provide counseling, we provide supports groups, we provide children's programming, and we are the only province that has what is called the Brummet Feasby ALS House, where people come to live who cannot manage in their own homes any longer, or their caregivers are unable to care anymore because they've been doing it for a long time and they're burnt out. And unfortunately, caregiver burnout is quite high in this disease. And so we're the only province that has this home with
That's
care.
amazing.
And it's called a home with care and support. It's not a hospice. It's not a personal care home. It's not an acute care facility. It is a home. And when we talk home for people with ALS, home means that this is a place where they share laughter, they share joy, they share food, and in all ways, shapes, or forms. So you might have a roast beef dinner, but it might be pureed or a minced, but it's still a roast beef dinner. And it provides what the biggest thing for us is hope, and that's helping our people every day.
That's amazing. Donations always welcome to the ALS Society of Manitoba.
Absolutely.
And the hope and joy actually it leads me very naturally into the story of Tuesdays with Morrie, where Morrie has been diagnosed at the age of 77 with ALS, but he very quickly decides he's going to live every day fully with hope and love and joy. And he just continues to live the way his life as he always has as a teacher, where he's giving. So although the piece is dealing with a debilitating, fatal disease, there is this underpinning of life and life affirmation and joy and love, and the importance of these even more so as we go through every day of our life, whether we are battling a disease or not. Diana has very graciously agreed to be our consultant on this production, so she will be in and out helping us with advice and coaching through some of the physical elements of this, and we are delighted to have her on board. And we hope you'll come out and see this truly beautiful play, Tuesdays with Morrie. It's about, the subtitle of it is The Meaning of Life. And Morrie shares the wisdom he's learned in his 78 years, and it's a gorgeous piece of theater. And we hope you'll all join us in September at the Bernie Theatre.